welcome to the morning show. We're coming to you today on WJOPLP Newburyport at FM 96.3 on Channel 9 and on Newburyport Community Media's YouTube channel at ncmhub.org. I'm your host, Mary Jacobsen, and this morning I am just delighted to welcome Broadway performer, writer, and composer Caren Lyn Manuel Tackett, who's here to talk about Slide, a kaleidoscopic quest for mental health, which she wrote and will perform at the Firehouse Center for the Arts on February 7th and 8th at 7:30 p.m. and February 9th at 2 p.m. Caren grew up in Boxford, and she performed in shows at the Newburyport skating rink where her father was an announcer.
Oh my goodness.
She began her musical theater career on Broadway and on world tours in 1995 with the role of Eponine in Les Miserables. And she went on to perform roles in Rent, Hair, Brooklyn, Evita, and Grease, among many others, basically all of the most popular musicals. So first of all, Caren, welcome to the morning show, and thank you for taking time to be here.
Thank you for having me. I feel like I don't even need to say anything. You did such a great job.
But I know you have lots of stories to tell, and thank you for bringing Slide to Newburyport. And thank you, by the way, since I'm on the Cultural Council, I wanted to congratulate you on getting an award from the Council for the production of Slide.
Thank you so much, and that's very imperative to the functioning of Slide.
Wonderful.
So thank you so much.
Well, we're happy, along with Caren, to have her director, Colin Gregory, is here. Colin, could you just tell us a little bit about your connection to Caren and to Slide?
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, quick is the operative word here. I grew up in Lawrence, Andover, and Haverhill, and went off to college in Boston and met Caren backstage at
the Colonial Theater.
Colonial Theater
wow.
when she was touring in Les Mis. It was after she booked Eponine. And before I even knew her, I just remember reading the newspaper article and being like, she did it. She got out.
There was no internet back then, so that was big news.
Didn't see each other for like 23 years, and then randomly met at a radio station.
To promote Slide 20
no
years
kidding.
later. 20 years
wow.
later. Yep, it was, yeah.
Well, talk about synchronicity.
The universe provides, and we've been inseparable since.
Wonderful. Well,
when you
welcome, Colin. I'm so glad
Thank
you
you.
could be here. And we
thrilled.
also are very happy to have Kate McSwain here. She is with American Ice Theater, and believe it or not, there's going to be ice skating in Slide. Surprise! Could you just tell us, we'll talk more about the ice skating part later and how you're going to pull that off. But what's American Ice Theater and your role with it?
Yes, thank you for having us. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization based in Massachusetts, and we do something called contemporary skating, which is like contemporary or modern dance on ice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm the co-executive director alongside Garrett Kling, who lives in Minnesota, and we run this with a mission of performance, community outreach, and education for artistic figure skating.
Oh, that sounds wonderful, Kate. Wonderful. And thank you also very much for being with us this morning to talk about Slide and to explain the ice skating. Well, Caren, back to you. You've had a fascinating life and a really varied and successful career as a writer and a composer and a Broadway performer in, as we were saying before, some of the best known and beloved musicals of all time. But your musical roots run deep within your family history. And I hope you could tell us a little bit about the Manuel Black and White Orchestra. And Maeve, could you show the two photos we have of the orchestra while Caren is talking, and tell us how this family heritage impacted your devotion to music, performing, and writing?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for asking. My family heritage and upbringing is so important to me. On my father's side of the family, I was born into a family of jazz and blues and big band musicians, and the Manuel's Black and White Orchestra was formed by my great uncles, Otis and David. Manuel, and in 1916 and 1917, actually, and at a time when mixed race events and things were not entirely welcome.
Yes, right.
And so it was really unique for this to be embraced in the city of Beverly, and they played so many local events and then later on in their career, they shared the bill with Count Basie and the Dorseys and people like that, but they went on little mini tours. And I think the thing that was distinctive about them was that they created their own music, and that is something that I'm really excited that I share with that part of my family. That's and literally every gathering when I was growing up was a music event. So
so it's in your DNA.
Definitely, and it was handed down
Absolutely.
through the generations, and the Manuel's Black and White Orchestra stayed running and operative through 2000 and I want to say 8 or 9.
Wow.
So
Oh, wow.
It was a very long-running
That's
generational
impressive.
band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for telling us about that.
My pleasure. I get emotional when I think about it, so I'm sorry about
Well,
that.
I can absolutely understand why, and it's impressive that it was such a long-running
Thank you.
kind of endeavor. That's really great.
Yes.
Well, I'm curious to find out what made you head for Broadway in the first place, and of course people are always curious about what was it like to perform in musicals on Broadway, and maybe if you can pick one, what was your favorite?
Oof. Okay. Well, I have to say, writing music and performing music was something that I always really loved doing. Predominantly, growing up, I was a competitive figure skater, but had that music, root with my family at the same time. And then when I got to junior high and high school, my friend group, where I felt my sense of belonging, was in the theater crowd.
Okay. Yeah.
And Greg West of the Masconomet Theater Department just basically transformed my whole world. And he's sort of the person that made me believe that I could do it for a career. So I decided to head to Emerson College in Boston, and when I was there as a freshman on spring break, auditions for Les Mis came through, and my brother actually was going to go, and I had heard that they weren't casting for Eponine, so I wasn't even going to go. And,
wow.
And
That's
so,
a good story.
I know, and so, but my brother was like, you never know, they'll keep you on file or something like that. So I went to the open call. There were about 750 people there, and I was so casual. I really did not think there was a chance in anything that I would get it. So I think that
May have helped
probably
you.
contributed to why I wound up
Karen,
booking it.
that is a great
Yeah.
story. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was and then the road just kept going. I was fortunate. This is not a very typical story, but I was just one of the fortunate people to be able to say that I continued to work. So straight
That's
through
wonderful.
till about 2012. After I had Raven and got married, we continued to take her on tour with us, and I would negotiate Raven into all of my contracts, and my husband would get a job as like a spotlight, person, or the merch, manager, and we would just be on the road together for the first 4.5 years of her life until
wonderful.
we decided to settle in Colorado.
Well, and shout out to your daughter Raven, who was
She's
going to be
amazing.
here, but
She's
we
amazing.
hope she gets better.
She's sick. She's home
She's sick this
with-
morning. But
like
shout out
everybody
to
else
you,
right now.
Raven. We're rooting
We love
for you
you.
to get
We love
better. And do you have a favorite? Is that not fair to
Oh,
ask?
let me see. It's so hard. You know what? I'm really going to have to say, and it's not because of the musical itself but the Rent family. I joined that show in 2002, and I was with them until 2011, and I would leave and come back because I'd audition for other shows that would not be as long running or successful, and then sort of walk with my tail wagging back to Rent and be like, please, could I have a job?
And Rent was always there.
They were, it's good to get a long running show.
Yeah,
but the great thing is they were very familial because I met my husband when I was in that show. I got married in the backyard of one of the Mimis in that show. I went on my honeymoon with that show on the Asian tour of Rent with my husband. My daughter was basically born backstage of that show. It was just we are definitely a Rent family. So I think
Absolutely, and I can
Rent.
understand why. Well, in addition to your performing career, Caren, you said that creating your own projects is really your very first love.
Yes.
So let's talk about Slide,
Okay.
A Quest for Mental Health. When did you write it, and what made the theme of mental health important to you?
There are parts of Slide that I started writing before I realized I was writing Slide. There are songs in Slide that I wrote when I was 15 years old. There are some when I was 18, and I didn't really realize that it wasn't going to culminate into this project until much later. I always resonated with the subject of mental health and mental health awareness, and sometimes as an artist, I feel it's important, for me anyway, to start creating things from a fictional standpoint. It's almost as a way of protecting myself until something clicks and I realize that I'm actually working through something that actually resonates in a more internal level for me, and that was definitely Slide, which I started writing in 2006 in New York City, and it evolved and evolved until I finally finished writing it in Colorado in 2012. And I would definitely say that it is a fictional piece, and I love that it's a fictional piece because it makes it more accessible to anyone to relate to. And the first incarnation of Slide happened after I wrote all of the music, and I wanted to, I hope you don't mind if I tell a little bit of a 1.5 minute long story about this.
Please do. You tell stories well.
Thank you. I had finally written the music of Slide entirely in 2012, living in Colorado, not really knowing what I was doing with my life there. We had just moved there. I was really used to having a Broadway career, and we were there building a new life, and so I wanted to create this album for Slide, and I always knew that figure skating, for some reason, needed to be a part of this project, and I think that figure skating for me was a place of escape and freedom at the same time growing up, and it also, in the same way of creating music or writing music, it is a place where I can access and work with creative force, and so it was inevitable for those things to merge, and in 2012 I had finished this album that I wanted to promote somehow, but first I wanted to create a music video for the song Mamas and Papas, and I knew it needed to be a figure skating music video. So my husband was in the position, and he still is, of creating organic and biodynamic farms and getting them certified for people, and then we'd move to another place and do that. And so his boss at the time, I knew had a drone. So I wrote to him asking for use of this drone. And then mentioned that I was doing this project and that I was inspired by a particular documentary called The Devil and Daniel Johnston in writing it. And when he wrote back to me, he revealed that he actually had a personal relationship with this Daniel Johnston person and came over and gave me a biography and then helped to foster the first production of Slide, for which I was giving a radio interview when I bumped into Colin Gregory for the first time after 20 years. Now, Colin and Kate also knew each other from college in Colorado.
But this is kismet.
I know. And if you can believe this, years later, after I moved back from Colorado to Massachusetts to help my mother care for my father who had had a stroke, I started needing that creative force again. So I met Kate and started taking advantage of all of AIT's workshops. American Ice Theater. Their workshops and festivals, which helped sort of reconnect me to that creative force of skating. And then one day, I was doing a different project and talking to Colin about it and saying, oh, and my dear friend Kate McSwain, who I just met, and I just did this festival. And then he wrote back and said, well, tell Kate McSwain I said hi. And my brain
so you didn't know that they
did not know at all. And so now we are all aligned doing this project together.
Wonderful to come together on this project. That's really great.
Thank you for letting me take the time.
It's very special.
It's a good story,
It's
because sometimes in life opportunities find you, and the people you need in the moment coalesce around you, which is a wonderful thing to celebrate, right? So, and it makes it feel like it was intended, doesn't it? So,
it does.
So Slide has been performed before,
Yes.
and how has it been received?
It was received very well in the different incarnations that it was presented. This is going to be the first time it's been presented in this such a multimedia capacity. It's been sort of evolving to this point for a while. Most notably when we had the opportunity to present this in concert form at the New York Musical Theater Festival in 2019. One of the songs, which I thought was surprised, was voted one of the top 5 in the entire festival.
Congratulations.
Which was a great
That's
thing.
exciting.
And I also thought it was intriguing because it's literally a 1-chord song, and I
bet it's a very good chord.
it was the best chord you could have chosen.
And they're always well, you mentioned different media, and you've described Slide as a stage concert experience
Yes.
with multiple media, including music, painting, movement, theater, and ice skating. And we're going to talk to you about that, Kate, in a minute. But help us understand how you utilize or bring together these different art forms in the performance. And then we're going to find out from you, Colin, or is it time to let Colin talk about, as the director, how you're planning to bring them all together?
Dribble, dribble.
Well, all right. I think we are so fortunate to have a group of collaborators that are all willing to shine where they need to. And so that, I think, is the first sort of round or grouping and coalescing and bringing everything together. Like, the music and lyrics are incredible. We have an incredible videographer for all of the ice skating in the rink, since
Great.
we won't be ice skating through the aisles as we intended.
Next
We
time.
couldn't get permissions in the theater. So it's a multimedia. We already have videos that we've been working on for the last 12, 13 years. Lots and lots of video content. We have the recorded skating that will be projected live. So there are projector screens throughout the
great.
staged area.
Wonderful.
And each screen will have a different element of what's happening on stage. With either, and I guess that's something we should talk about, but we have live artists. I have ideas. Live artists that will be painting as we are performing. So we have,
How cool is that?
as a stage concert, the singers will pretty much be there, but then we have this incredible group of dancers and body movers. And on ice, it's the artistic expression. They will be another sort of layer woven into the tapestry of the show.
Well, that sounds fascinating.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I like how you called it a tapestry. It's definitely a tapestry.
Well, let's talk about the ice skating part of the tapestry then, Kate. So, what have you been doing, and with how many skaters, and where?
We're going to have a total of 4 skaters, including Caren and myself.
And at this point, Maeve, could you put the really cute photo we have of Caren as a young skater with her skating coach? Just mount
glad I
that for a
sent it.
few seconds, because it's an important part of your history. And sorry to interrupt,
No.
but I don't want people to miss the chance to see that photo. It's really adorable.
Yes, and
that
we're
cool?
also going to have a skater named Jacobsen Benson, who's coming in from New York City, and she is the co-vice president of American Ice Theater, so I work closely
okay,
with her.
great.
And then we're also going to have Rowan Marty, who is a senior at Dartmouth, and she is coming down, and she's done some work with American Ice Theater as well. And it's we're really excited about the videographer. His name is Jordan Cowan, and he has a videography platform called On Ice Perspectives.
Oh.
And he is a high-level skater himself, and he has a full gimbal and the whole setup that he carries with him. It weighs so much, I can't imagine how he does it.
I'm
And
sorry, what is a gimbal?
the whole setup that you have for the camera.
so it can move around.
So it can
and on the
move
ice.
and stay steady while it's
Wow.
moving. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. And his setup is really incredible, and he has beautiful, beautiful videos. So he
wonderful.
will be out there with us while we are moving and sort of expressing the storytelling of each of the songs that Caren's written.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Very cool. Well, and you just mentioned Caren's songs, and so it seems like it's time then to play one of Caren's songs, which we just happen to have a recording of. And before we play To Be Clear is the name of the song, Caren, tell us a little bit about the song.
This is the final song in the piece, and the main character has gone through this journey of not understanding and having large struggles navigating her mental highs and lows. And by the end, I would say, of this piece, I think she has, while maybe she has not found complete healing or complete resolve, she has at least found some acceptance with her demons, sort of like in Carl Jung's shadow self. Exactly, where you have to just sort of embrace the shadow in order to be able to work with it and just sort of move through life. And so that's, I think, what this song represents for her.
Well, wonderful. We're going to play the song then, and while we play the song, we're going to show a montage then of some wonderful photos that you've sent us from your Broadway career.
Oh,
So let's-
wonderful. Thank you so much for having us again.
you,
This
thank
has been
you.
really fun. So nice.
Thank you, Mary.
If you don't know, why should I tell? If you don't vibe, why should I gel? Don't you feel dry there in your hell? I wish you well. If you don't care, why do I talk? So go on, stare as I walk my walk. If you see what's there, I'll hide my shock. Circling your block. If you won't live, tell real good lies. Plan what they give, then act surprised. Never forgive the compromise. Just snap at flies. Hooray, I have this paper. Somebody somewhere saved her. Hope she minds her behavior, Today I'm someone straight line. I crossed your mental state line. Told you they'd never take mine, Today I have this feeling that you never escaped healing. It's suddenly feeling, If you don't mind, why am I here? If you're not blind, why ain't it clear? If you're not scared, why can't I stare? What do you fear? Today I drink clear water. You may think I forgot her, but I'm someone else's daughter, One gift that I can give them is that
Well, that was just lovely.
Well, thank you
Thank you so
much.
You know, you sent me several, and they're all terrific songs, but this was
you.
the one that just, I don't know, it spoke to me. It's just really beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate
So,
that.
yeah, thank you so much for letting us play it.
Thank you for having us. This has been so
And-
wonderful.
And
The whole album.
you know all the words.
I better.
Watching a montage of Karen's Broadway pictures, Colin was dancing and lip syncing.
That's right. You knew, and he could sing it actually too in that key.
Well, I wanted to ask, actually, each of you can respond to this, but we'll start with you, Caren. What do you hope that people will come away from Slide feeling and/or thinking about?
I hope that people come away from Slide feeling more free to process, express, and resonate in their own feelings, and to be able to express them authentically, however they choose, in a safe environment. That's what I hope for.
That sounds like a really
And
good.
I hope that if I could help be an advocate for that, or a vessel for that, through the arts, that's what I would like to continue to do.
Well, you know, that's what the arts are supposed to be for. So there you go.
Yeah. Good answer.
Colin or Kate, anything that you wanted to add to?
I think I particularly with the element that contemporary skating is bringing to this tapestry. I think that I'm really excited to show people that contemporary skating is available to everyone as a vessel, a source of freedom, artistic, mental health, joy, community, movement, and it doesn't have to just be the way that we think of ice skating. So we're not skating in these videos what you would traditionally think of ice skating. We're skating in these videos as dancers and storytellers and movers.
Yeah.
And I think that
Theater.
people can view the ice now in a new way as another medium of freedom and artistic health, really.
Absolutely.
Hey, that was beautifully put.
Thank you.
And I'm so intrigued now.
Be intrigued.
Yeah. Anything you wanted to add, Colin?
For me, I think that self-love is truly the way that we heal from all afflictions, whether
Yeah.
they're, it's self-sabotage or self-flagellation or societal or familial. True healing means that you're just okay with who and where you are.
Yes.
And I think that this show, the music, the skating, the dance, the choreography, just gives us permission to step into the hurt that we experience in life and feel it so you can heal it, and then walk away feeling untethered from the experience. Maybe untethered from reality, and really, who knows? What is reality but a construct of the human mind?
Nothing.
Exactly. Ultimately, that we are all working through our own personal hells and demons, and through self-love and acceptance, we can let go of the attachments to the stuff that hurts.
And
Sounds very-
community, I think,
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
just
yes.
self-love, but like what this represents is the community of skaters and singers and musicians and actors and painters, and that community is
Yeah.
where health can be found too.
Oh, you all are
The
beautifully
fabric of the universe in this
putting
tapestry.
the miracle of art. Absolutely.
That's right.
And its beneficent and healing impacts. So thank you for that. A great way to end, except we have one more thing to talk about. How can people
Oh yeah,
get
how, where,
tickets?
when?
Oh my goodness. Well, at the Firehouse Center for the Arts, I should certainly have that that link right in front of me, shouldn't I?
People can Google.
Yes, you can just go ahead and look up the Firehouse Center for the Arts in Newburyport, and you can get your tickets online. You can also get them through my website, which is www.CarenLynManuel.com. Look at that.
Wonderful.
That's
Great.
www.CarenLynManuel.com.
Well done, Colin.
Thank you, thank you.
And on the YouTube version of this show, which will be available later this morning, there is a link for the Firehouse
Excellent.
Thank you.
Center and it has theater. So you just click on it easily and go there and buy tickets. Well, thank all of you so much
Thank
for
you
taking
so
Thanks
much
so much for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
It's been
been
really fun and engaging, and I'm so intrigued. I'm happy to report I already have my tickets.
Excellent. Yay.
So for anyone who's interested and wants tickets so they can explore and experience this really intriguing mixture of modalities and the positive, beneficent effects that have been so articulately spoken of here near the end, just go to that website and you'll find all the information that you need. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much for
thank you.
having us.
My pleasure. That's it for today, everybody. Please join us again next Thursday at 9 for the morning show. And until then, everybody, be well.
Be well.